in a recent interview, middleweight champion Sergio Martinez said that he needs to be treated with dignity during his negotiations for a potential matchup against Miguel Cotto in June 2014. I'll leave a link to the interview in the description below. So just go click the link, just click the show more tab and you'll see the link right there. Now, my interpretation of that statement from Martinez is that he wants a hell of a lot of money. That's my interpretation of it. Because Martinez has been chasing those big money fights for the past 5-6 years. He's been pretty much grinding in the middleweight division, trying to hustle his way to those big paydays. And he finally got a big payday against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. But that was really the first major fight in terms of a payday that Sergio Martinez had been involved in. And he's in his late 30s. He wants more of those big paydays. He's been watching guys like Pacquiao and Mayweather and Canelo pick up all these big paydays and get all these big pay-per-view numbers. And he wants a slice of that action. Now, he tried to get Mayweather and Pacquiao in the ring. Neither of those guys were interested in fighting him, even at 154, even at a catch weight, even for 80-20 splits. Neither of those guys were willing to fight him. Canelo as well, for whatever reason, the fight against Martinez didn't come off. But in steps Miguel Cotto, who is willing to fight Martinez. And not only is he willing to fight him, he's willing to fight him at 160, not 154. No catch weights, nothing like that as far as I'm aware. He's willing to fight the guy at 160 in his own weight division. And this is typical Miguel Cotto, who is the consummate warrior in boxing. This guy has literally fought everyone there is to fight, pretty much. And he's fought a lot of them when they were in their prime or at least near their prime. So Miguel Cotto, you really can't praise him highly enough for being a warrior and being willing to fight anyone. But as I say, it seems like Martinez really wants to be paid well for this fight. And who can blame him? The guy's nearly 40 years old. He's coming off a lot of injuries. He's had a hard career. He's been grinding in the middleweight division, man. He's been fighting a lot of guys in that middleweight division for many years. And he wants to be paid the same way the other superstars are being paid. So a lot of people are going to talk about a matchup against Gennady Golovkin. Why is he not fighting Golovkin? That's definitely a valid criticism of Sergio Martinez. But I guess Martinez feels like, you know what? I deserve some big money fights that are not as dangerous as Gennady Golovkin. Because Pacquiao and Floyd have been having big money fights that are not as dangerous as Golovkin. Canelo's been having those kind of fights. Why can't I have those kind of fights? I'm nearly 40 years old. Let me get a slice of that pie. You know? Let me get a slice of that action. Why should I have to go in there against someone like Golovkin who's ridiculously dangerous and the money's not going to be as much as I would get fighting a Miguel Cotto or a Mayweather or a Pacquiao or a Canelo, etc. So he wants to make sure he gets well paid from this fight right here. And again, I can't really blame him for that. In terms of how I see the fight going, I would pick Martinez, regardless of whether Martinez is faded or whatnot. I would still pick Martinez. Now, obviously, the fight is going to be a lot more competitive, and I'll definitely give Miguel Cotto a chance of winning if the layoff, the age, and the injuries are affecting Martinez seriously. And you definitely have to factor those things into the equation. You have to. You'd be stupid not to. You'd be stupid not to think about Martinez's age and his poor performance against Murray and his injuries and the long layoff. You would be stupid to not factor those things in to, to the outcome of the Miguel Cotto fight. But I would still take a gamble and say Martinez wins the fight. I think he's too big, hits too hard for Miguel Cotto, and he's a southpaw. And if you look at Miguel Cotto's career, historically, he's always had trouble with southpaws. He had trouble with DeMarcus Corley, even though he, did end up beating the brakes off Corley. But Corley did have his moments in that fight. He did have trouble. He had trouble with Zab Judah early in the fight. All right, he got beat by Pacquiao. He lost to Austin Trout, and that's fairly recently. Yes, he's come back since then with a good win over Delvin Rodriguez, but as I say, he's had most trouble in his career with southpaws. And I still believe Martinez has enough to replicate what Austin Trout did, but actually do a little bit better. Yeah? Him and Trout are actually of a similar size. Austin Trout and Sergio Martinez. I think Trout might be slightly taller, maybe have slightly longer arms. But they're of a similar size, but I believe Martinez hits harder and he's been used to fighting bigger men who hit harder than Miguel Cotto. I think Cotto does have the potential to give Martinez some problems stylistically because of the fact Cotto's so short. He's only around 5'7". When a guy is shorter than you're used to fighting, especially when he tucks up nice and tight like Cotto does and comes underneath your punches, it can be quite awkward and it can be quite difficult to catch them clean. But I would still take Sergio Martinez, and I think it could be similar. I think it could be a cross between the Pacquiao fight and the Trout fight. I think that Martinez is more vicious than Trout, has more pop in that left hand, much more of a puncher, goes for the knockout more than a guy like Austin Trout. Some people could say that gets him hit more often. He obviously didn't look good against Martin Murray, but Martin Murray is a big man, a much bigger middleweight than Sergio Martinez is. I don't think that Cotto is as big and strong as Martin Murray. But as I say, he could be awkward with the fact that he's so short coming underneath Martinez's punches. So, no, I would still go with Martinez. I think he has the viciousness like Pacquiao. And I think if he didn't win on points, I would see him taking out Miguel Cotto late in the fight. But I'd probably go with Martinez winning the fight on points. Again, hats off to Cotto for even being willing to step up to 160 and take on Sergio Martinez, where other fighters like Mayweather and Pacquiao, and especially Canelo Alvarez, who's more than big enough to take on Martinez, why is him and Martinez not happening, really and truly? Why has it not happened before now? You know, that's a big fight for both of them. So it is what it is. But personally, I would be leaning towards Sergio Martinez in the fight. But drop your comments below. Maybe you disagree. If you do disagree with me and you think Cotto has a chance of winning this fight, please explain why in the comment section below. Do you think this is a good matchup? Again, hats off to Miguel Cotto, man. This guy really takes on everyone. Do you think it's a bit of a bitch move, though, from Sergio Martinez? Do you think he should forget about trying to chase big fights with little men and step up to the plate and take on Gennady Golovkin right now? Let me know how you feel. Drop your comments below. This is Hatman. I'm out.